What's going on, people? Back with another Cannonier versus Strickland related video. I want to play Matchmaker a little bit for some of the fights and fighters that either impressed me or the fights that I was most excited for. I recognize that there are some winners that could be getting some spotlight, like Drew Dober and Alex Caceres and things like that, but I think that those guys are easy job for the matchmakers, because no matter what you do with them, they're going to be fun, right? So these guys, though, I want to see, honestly, the bottom four are the ones that I'm most excited about seeing continuing on in the future. Jared Cannonier is an old man, right? But we'll start with him. He said that he wanted a title shot or a fight with Adesanya. Now, I get shooting your shot, but hey, there's no way, guy. Not after that performance, and not after the performance in your title fight with Israel. Like, I don't think anybody's clamoring to see that fight, with all due respect. You know, I like Jared Cannonier. I think he's a cool guy. He barely won this fight, and I picked him to win, and I don't even know if he won. I would have to go back and rewatch it and actually score it while I'm not watching it in real time. But there's no way they're going to give him either one of those matchups. I mean, Israel's fighting the champ, so both of them are tied up. Pretty silly call out, if you ask me. But yeah, man, shoot your shot. But I've got different plans for you. And he's probably not going to like them. I want to see him fight Chris Curtis. They're both coming off wins. I get Chris Curtis is much lower down in the rankings, but I want to see if he's the real deal. And, I mean, he made Buckley look like light work. A lot of guys in the middleweight top 10 that are already matched up with one another, or their fight schedules aren't going to align. So, I want to see it, man. I want to see how legit Chris Curtis is. If he beats Jared Cannonier, great. This is kind of a more like helping out Chris Curtis matchmaking job than it is Cannonier, but to be honest, Cannonier is probably on his way out anyways. And I think it would be a great striking matchup. I think that if there was somebody who is a little more technical than Sean Strickland, like, Cannonier could easily get finished. I mean, Robert Whittaker almost did it. And, you know, Bobby Knuckles barely got touched in that fight. He got rocked a little bit in the last round. And it is what it is, you know. Yeah, I want to see it. Cannonier won't like it, but I like it. We'll move on to the co-main winner, Arman Tsarukyan. That was an extremely impressive performance against Ismagulov. And I think that he deserves somebody like up there in the top 5. The only problem is I don't think the UFC is going to give him... So the top 5 lightweight division is kind of a shit show, because you have multiple stars in there who the UFC is not going to want to pair up with young and up-and-comers. Not just yet, right? If we had some guys up there that were like Cannonier's age, then maybe. But with like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, technically speaking, athletically, they're all kind of still in their prime. And if they're your big draws in that division, I don't know why you would fucking give them someone like Arman Tsarukyan. So with that being said, I don't think the UFC is going to want to do this matchup either. I don't know if he already has a fight on the books, but I want to see him fight Rafael Fiziev. Because I think that we should see whether or not... a lot of these matchups are based on the opponents more or less than the ones that fought last night. But I want to see if Fiziev can withstand takedowns that might be on Islam Makhachev's level, or if not, they're like almost there, right? Because Fiziev's creeping up in the top 10, or top 5, pardon me. Whenever he looks like a striker, or whenever he's facing a striker, it's amazing to watch. Actually, that's why I picked Bobby Green against Drew Dober, because of how good Bobby Green looked against Fiziev and how good I know Fiziev is. But I really want to see what happens when he faces a guy who can stand. Maybe he isn't going to be as good on the feet as Fiziev, but we'll be close. Arman Tsarukyan has fantastic attacks off of his front leg, the left leg there. His kicks are phenomenal. He's a big, imposing guy, despite him being nearly mid-height. But I feel like it sucks for the dudes that are higher up ranked, but sometimes these fights need to happen, because we need to see, if Tsarukyan can hang in the top 5, and to be quite frank, I think he can. And I also want to see if Fiziev can handle takedowns, because to be honest, like, if Fiziev fights Arman Tsarukyan and gets taken down and fucking mollywopped for 3 rounds, then, like, there is absolutely no point in seeing him fight Islam, in my opinion. And that's kind of a bold statement, because every fight's obviously going to be different, but I just want to see if he can handle it. I haven't really seen him tested by a strong grappler yet, and I want to see that. But we will move on to Said Nurmagomedov. I picked Said to win. He got the job done. I picked him because of his finishing abilities. And I said that in my initial picks video. I said that he's got more ways to win. He can strike. He's a phenomenal striker. He reminds me a little bit, honestly, of Zabit Magomed Sharipov, because his striking is so good, and his grappling may not be the level of a lot of the guys from Dagestan, but it is damn close, especially defensively. He was getting taken down a lot by Kakramanov, but the defense, his defense was incredible. Like, Kakramanov wasn't really able to do a whole lot. And at the end of the first round, Kakramanov's face looked more busted up than Said's did, despite the fact he had like 3 minutes of control time, if not more. I want to see him get a big fight in at least the top 10. And what better way to pick a guy that just had a highlight reel KO? Chris Gutierrez, with his highlight reel KO of Frankie Edgar, which was so sad. But good for him. And I wouldn't mind seeing it, man. 2 good strikers. I want to see... I like watching Said strike, so I just want to see, like, dudes not try to take him down. I'm sure Gutierrez would end up shooting a takedown. That guillotine's going to be a problem for anybody, man. Like, he locks that shit up nice and tight. But Chris Gutierrez looked phenomenal against Frankie Edgar, and I get that Frankie Edgar's at the end of his career and this and that, but it's not just the KO that I'm speaking of. It's the way he set it up. And he looked quick and sharp on the feet before the KO. The KO was obviously beautiful. I want to see him against a top-level striker as well, just for a fun matchup that has some implications. Not quite title eliminator, but to see who might get a title eliminator shot. I mean, I know it's going to be tricky to get a title shot at bantamweight. There are so many goddamn killers, but moving on. First loser of the night, who maybe kind of sort of lost. I don't know. Sean Strickland. Man, there's a lot of good things you can take away from Sean Strickland in that fight. He made serious improvements. Like, I said that I thought he was going to lose because of a lack of a kicking game, and that ultimately ended up being somewhat true, right? Like, his coach was getting frustrated with him for not throwing teep kicks. That were there, they were available, especially when Cannonier was in southpaw. But Sean Strickland made a huge adjustment with checks. He checked a lot of leg kicks. They were good hard checks too. And I mean, they probably hurt him. But if you look at the difference between like the first 2 rounds, how many leg kicks Cannonier threw with compared to the last few, night and day. Like, he was definitely discouraged from throwing those leg kicks. And if Sean could just add some leg kicks of his own, some good, like, I mean, he's not built for explosivity, clearly. But if he would just develop a bit of a kicking game, man, even the way he, like, people think he's some dumb fuck white trash guy, right? And maybe he kind of is. But he made adjustments even defensively speaking when it comes to the boxing range, because when Alex Pereira knocked him out, it was because of the exaggerated parry that he would do to stop the left hand, to stop the jab. He would do this exaggerated parry and kind of dip his head off to the side. Alex made a good read and faked the jab, turned it into a left hook, and got the KO. So this fight, though, like, Sean Strickland almost kind of looked like a blind guy, like trying to feel his way around a room, right, when he was fighting Alex Pereira. His hands were out, and I get that it's a good defensive technique, but it also leaves yourself open, and that's ultimately what happened. He adjusted that, though, when he was fighting Cannonier. He would throw his arms out, like, almost perfectly timed for when Cannonier would throw a punch, and then it would cause Cannonier's arms to kind of hit his, and not a whole lot landed cleanly because of it. So Sean Strickland made a lot of good defensive improvements. He very easily could have gotten this win, and it's super unfortunate for him, man, because he would have been in the top 3, you know? And then we'd be looking at, like, maybe a Robert Whittaker fight after Paulo Costa, or, who knows? It would just shake up things at middleweight a little bit. With that being said, though, he did lose. So, let him fight Dricus du Plessis. Kind of like, you know what, honestly, I think it was a winnable fight for Sean Strickland. Du Plessis got hit quite a bit against Till. His cardio looks good because in the 3rd round he's still going hard, but it's really not that good. He had to take an entire 5 minutes off and, like, got rocked on multiple occasions in round 2 against Darren Till. I honestly think Cannonier might jab his face off. But what I want to see is what happens when someone shoots on Strickland, sorry. Du Plessis got great grappling, right? I want to see what happens when Sean Strickland's piecing his face up and he decides that he needs to shoot. And I just think it would be a fun fight. It would give Du Plessis a chance to break into, like, the top 7 and also shake up the middleweight division a little bit. Moving on, Ismagulov. This guy impressed me, and even in defeat. He's clean on the feet. In the 3rd round, he was still landing. And he didn't seem to be, like, tired. And, like, his shots weren't extremely labored yet. If that was a 5-round fight, who knows, man? And I get that that's just whatever, because it wasn't a 5-round fight, so it doesn't really fucking matter. But Arman Tsarukyan against Gamrot was kind of what I was thinking. And if there were 5 rounds, who knows? Ismagulov could have gotten the finish late, because Arman goes so hard. And I think he knew he could because it was only 3 rounds. With that being said, I still think that Ismagulov deserves a big fight because of how, man, I mean, honestly, it was so impressive. The takedown defense is so impressive to me. And he's super clean on the feet. So I think we can give him someone coming off of a loss. Still highly ranked, though not as highly ranked as Feziev. Mateos Gamrot. We saw Gamrot beat Arman, I believe. I think so. with the last 3 rounds, right? Because Armin got tired. Gamrot started picking up the pace. And then we saw him lose to goddamn Beneil Dariush, dude. Beneil Dariush is the fucking man, people. That's amazing, dude. Actually, I almost want to switch. I don't want... No, fuck that. That's why I picked Fiziev to fight Armin Tsarukyan. I did not want to see Beneil Dariush get fucked and have to fight someone lower down in the rankings, because I think he deserves like a Dustin Poirier or a fucking title shot. That man is goddamn menace. Okay. So yeah, I want to see Ismagulov. I want to see if he can stop his takedowns, because I mean, even Tsarukyan was able to take down Gamrot and control him, and I think it would be a great fight, and I don't think that Ismagulov should have to fight someone way down in the rankings. I mean, that was a great fight, and he did a lot of good things in that fight. We'll move on. Said Yakub Kakramanov, also very impressive in defeat. He dominated most of the fight, right? And then he got subbed. Like I said, he might. I don't think we should give him a fight super far down in the rankings. I want to see... This may seem mean, and because I kind of like the guy I'm matching him against, so I feel like a bit of a dickhead, but... I don't know if Adrian Yanez has a fight lined up already. But if he does not, I want to see how he handles a grappler like that. Because in this day and age, you have to be able to. Adrian Yanez isn't fucking bantamweight, dude. What are you going to do if you got to fight Aljo and you've made it all the way there without facing a single grappler? He's going to backpack you and strangle you. Like, these young dudes need to get tested in certain areas. Said Nurmagomedov stands very high up. Very straight. Throws a lot of wild shit, right? So it's like easy to time a takedown on him almost, especially for somebody who does it so much. He's throwing spinning back kicks and body kicks and long jabs, right? With like so much space between him and the ground. Easy to duck under and shoot. Adrian Yanez is not that. He's like 5'7". He's short and stocky. He's a great striker, but it's all fundamentals. He's not throwing crazy spinning shit. He does not open himself up that much for takedowns. So I want to see what happens when he gets taken down. They're very similar in size, but Adrian Yanez just doesn't give the same opportunities for takedown as Said does. And maybe because Said Nurmagomedov's like, fuck it, take me down, dude, I'll strangle you. Give it. Like, come on. But I still think it would be a good fight. I think it would be a way for... Because insanely, this is nuts. Said Yakub Kakramanov is not fucking ranked. He is not in the top 15. Said Nurmagomedov was just ranked number 15. That's insane. The level of bantamweight, even beyond the top 15, is so good. Adrian Yanez is ranked. He's ranked higher than Said Nurmagomedov. I don't know, man. I want to see. I feel like he hasn't had to be tested yet with a really good grappler, and I'm curious. And I think that despite being submitted, that Kakramanov has earned himself a big fight. I don't think he should have to move down in the rankings. I think he'll learn from this, and he's not going to leave his neck open, and I think that he might even slow it down a little bit. He may have ran out of gas. He was going pretty fucking hard in the opening 2 rounds there. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it. I know I'm missing some good winners on here, but these were the ones that I was excited about. Let me know in the comments if you think I missed any that I should have highlighted, or if you disagree or agree with any of the matches I have made here. And like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and so would Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. Ta-ta. See you later.